Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Hamza Asuma, and this is the Think Clinical podcast. It's always great to be here. We love having you here all the time, and we love the feedback we are getting from you. Please keep them coming. We appreciate everything you do for this channel. If you haven't done that already, please remember to subscribe, like, and share so that we can get this content to as many people as can benefit from it. So welcome once again, and today we are going to continue our series on the business plan and business models, and I'm going to be detailing today what a business plan entails, what you need to look out for when you have designed a business plan, what you need to pay attention to. This is not a classroom presentation on how to write a business plan. If you need to do that or you need guidance in doing that, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to assist you in any way that I can. But this is just to give you an overview of what goes into a business plan and help you put the right things in there. And so whether you are seeking investment or mapping out your strategy, or simply just fine-tuning your vision, because your business model brings your vision to reality. So whether you're just fine-tuning that vision, you need a very well-crafted business plan, and it's very crucial for your business and for the journey you're about to take to really lay out how you're going to deliver the value you defined so clearly in your business model. So I will take the opportunity to walk you through this, and if you have any questions that go beyond and require more detail, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to help. So one of the important parts of a business plan is an executive summary, and that is the first thing that anybody who takes your business plan looks at. So for the purposes of this video, I'm only going to highlight very important components that absolutely need to be in your business plan, and that absolutely need to be well defined in your business plan. There are other things you can add on to it. That is something you need to figure out on your own. But these are things that anybody who looks at your business plan, be it an investor or for your own sake, if it's something you are strategizing to make your vision more clear, the first thing that everybody, and that is where you should put in a lot of effort, is your executive summary. So you think about this as your elevator pitch, right? If you met me as an investor, or you bumped into me on an elevator and you needed to tell me about your business, what exactly are you going to tell me? So this is what goes into your executive summary. You should be able to present a very concise but yet a very compelling overview of your company's mission, your vision, and your goals. So the two things you need to pay attention to: it has to be concise and it has to be compelling. So just imagine how long you have in an elevator, and make sure you draft your executive summary to capture all the essential elements of what your company really stands for. So anybody who picks it up automatically can say, okay, this is what their vision and their mission is, and this is what they are hoping to achieve with this whole thing. It gives everybody who takes it, or even yourself, a very clear overview of what the business is about. So the first thing you need to do is to write a very good executive plan. Now the executive plan should highlight, just make sure you have these things highlighted in the executive plan. So no matter how you want to write it, make sure these things really stand out in the plan. And one of the things is your unique value proposition, which you clearly defined in your business model. You need to make sure that in your executive summary, your unique value proposition is very clearly spelled out within your summary. The other thing you need to look at is your target market. So that has to come in your executive summary. You need to make sure people understand exactly what or who you are targeting and who you want to offer these services to. As I said, is it going to be gender? Is it age related? Is it whatever you decide to do? Because anybody who comes into the business world and says, I want to offer my services to everybody from a toddler to an adult, is probably being unrealistic at some point. So you need to clearly define who your primary audience are, or who your primary market your primary consumers are going to be, and then other people would obviously consume, but they are not your target at that point. And the third thing you need to do is to be clear on your financials. So this is something that I have learned, and that's the part of the business plan I had always been very, very awkward with, because a lot of the time the question you need to answer is that what are you asking for? And what you're asking for is not all the grammar that you are going to write in there saying you need mentorship and guidance and all those things that people put in business plans. No. When you do your executive summary, your financial projection is, I need $50,000 to be able to cover my capital and operating costs for this period of time. So be specific. So this was the part where I know in different competitions that I took part in, entrepreneurial competitions that I took part in, during the pitching process, one of the questions they ask you is that, so what are you expecting? What do you want from us? These are investors. They're asking what you want from them. And I remember I always go on and on about how this business is a good idea and it will save the world, and hoping that they can give me the mentorship and the guidance and blah, 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 blah. No. So the one thing you need to be clear on is that when you are asked such a question, you say, I need an amount of this, $50,000, $100,000, $1 million to cover A, B, C, D, E. So one of the things that you need to be clear on is, so these three things have to show up in your executive summary. Whatever you decide to add to it, make sure these three things are very clear. Your value proposition, your target market, and your financial projections. These should be very clear. So use this. I'm spending some time on this because you have to use this as your opportunity to make an impression. So that's the first thing anybody is going to see. So make sure your executive summary is helping you make that impression. It is encouraging whoever is reading it or whoever is considering being part of your business. At least it helps them to want to continue. But if you're unable to define that clearly, that's going to be a problem. The second thing that you absolutely have to highlight in your business plan, as I said, I'm not going to touch on every single component of it, but another thing you absolutely need to have very detailed in your business plan is your market analysis. So you need to do a very, very thorough market analysis. You need to look at the market you are going into. How many people are there? How many people's concerns are you going to be able to address within that market? You need to look at the industry trend within the market. You need to look at the consumer behavior. So these are things that the market analysis is going to help you clearly define. So if it doesn't mean after your executive summary, no, I mean you need to have an introduction and have all those things in your business plan. But again, as I said, I'm going to highlight the things that you absolutely have to have and do properly, and that's what people look out for. So your market analysis is one of the most important things that really, really consider. Now, the third thing is your competitor analysis. So there's a lot of things that people ignore when it comes to business plans. And a lot of the time, and I've been part of those people who were delusional enough to believe that the idea they have has no competition in the market. So I remember during one of my pitching sessions, one of the investors asked me who my competitors are, and I went on and on about how this is a very novel idea in Africa and nobody has thought about it or done it yet, and blah, 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 blah. And I remember the investor, who was very blunt, said, anybody who actually believes that their idea is so unique that they don't have any competition is delusional. So that's the first red flag that as an investor he will look at. And that was a very good point he made, because then when I kept looking at it deeper, I realized that it's absolutely impossible for you to go into a market and not have any competition at all. It might not be the same products you are bringing to a market, but there may be other products or services which are very similar to what you're bringing in. So those are competitions, and these are people who serve as substitutes for your clients. So you need to be very clear and investigate anybody who has a product that is similar to what you are bringing into the market. See how they are doing it. Highlight what they do well and what they don't do well, and compare that to what you do that they don't do. And that's where the competitor analysis is supposed to be an analysis. It's not just you listing your competition and saying, oh, Google is my competition, whoever, Amazon is my competition. You don't need to just list those competitions. You need to say, these are the things that we are bringing to the market. So for a product like this, let's say a hospital, maybe the location is important, the number of providers is important, as well as the type of providers is important. Maybe you are going to add the waiting time. You are looking at the resources you have in terms of equipment, in terms of the facility you operate out of. So you are looking at all these things when trying to start your hospital business. So in doing a competitor analysis, what you're saying is that Hamza's Hospital, I have a good location, I have a good number of providers, I have a good mix of the type of providers I have a system in place that would make patients wait for too long, and everything else you think you do very well, right? Then you come to the next person, which is maybe B Hospital, right? And in B Hospital, maybe they have a good location, but they don't have so many providers. So you're trying to look at what you are bringing, who are those in the market, and what out of what you are bringing to a market, what do they have and what don't they have? And then once you table all those things, it gives you a snapshot of the market you're coming into, what everybody else is strong in, and again, it will actually validate the value you are bringing into a market. So that's the competitor analysis, and this is very important. And as I said, I'm only highlighting very critical aspects of the business plan that you need to look at, because it's the how. And the things that will clearly define your operational and financial strategies are centered around the market you're coming in, doing a proper market analysis, as well as doing a proper competitor analysis. So if you know the customers you're serving, and you know those people who are already serving those customers, then you are able to really strategize the value, like how to deliver your value, or how you're going to position yourself such that you'll be able to get some of those clientele to yourself. What I think is the most important part of this business plan is your financial projections. And these are the things that a lot of people decide to put in, for some reason, put in a lot of unrealistic projections in their finances. So every financial projection I've seen from a startup they've always had the same thing in common. They have their expenses which are heavily understated, and they have revenue overly stated. So they project revenue so much that it looks profitable even the first year. Now this is when if let's say if you are looking for investors, this is mostly what they look out for. When they read your executive summary and they see what you're about, the next thing they want to look at is your numbers. How are you going to make the money? If those two things align, then they can go in and look at all the other things that you have. Look at your market analysis, look at competitor analysis, look at the team you have, all those other things you may want to present to them. That's when they go to look at them. But one of the most important things that you need to identify in your financials is that it's a reality check. And the reality doesn't come when you hide behind the delusion that you'll be able to make money or it's a profitable business just because you've conceived this as a good idea and you think it should work at all costs. That's absolutely not what it's supposed to achieve for you. So what you need to pay attention to, and again I will say it, is that you need to be very, very clear on the expenses you're anticipating. How much are you going to be spending on your capital costs? How much are you spending on your operating costs? Project it objectively or as close as possible to what you face in reality. And then use that to build your model on revenue. How are you going to make money? Clearly state those out. 1, when I see patients for consultation, I'll make money from it. And again, I'm just saying this in the context of a hospital business, but it depends on what you want to do. But if you say, okay, consultation fees, I'll make money from it. Laboratory fees, I'll make money from it. Maybe other forms of diagnosis or imaging, I'll make money from it. Let's say surgeries, minor procedures in the hospital, I'll make money from it. Admissions and hospital stay, special services, in which case you want to do VIP wards and very special wards or presidential wards or however you want to do it, and make money from it. You have to spell out these very clearly. The second stage of it is that you need to also go the extra mile of saying, this in the first quarter of my hospital business, if I start in 2025, the first quarter, this is how many patients I'm hoping to see through consultation, and based on the marketing we are going to do. These are the number of people I'm hoping to be able to admit. Like maybe averagely in a month, we should be able to admit and discharge maybe 50 people. And depending on the mix of conditions or procedures, this is averagely how much we make on admissions. These are the mix of surgeries we can do in the hospital, and average this is how much you're going to spend in surgeries. So you see how it's going. You need to clearly define all those things, then put them in the model. And what that would do is that it's going to look at how much money from the streams you mentioned you are going to make, and how much are you anticipating the year. A lot of the time, to be honest with you, startups, if you are making huge profits in the first year of your business, then I doubt if you really did your financial projections properly. Unless you came up with such a brilliant idea that was from the top of your business plan was taken up by an investor who believes in the product you brought into the market and just pushed it. But even that, you will still spend a lot of money. It is rare, very rare, for you to start like a hospital business and show me a financial projection that makes ridiculous profits in the first year. It's not possible. So be as realistic as you can, because that actually paints the health of your business and helps the investor to be able to clearly say, okay, this is going to be successful or not. So the other things you can look out for, you can do properly outline your marketing strategies so that they know how you're going to let people know about you. Lay out your team, who is in your team, what they are qualified to do. And I mean, these are things that people push in there, but the ones I detailed and took my time to go through are the ones you absolutely have to take your time and really, really work through to make sure that you have the attention of whoever is looking at it, and you have that clarity too. So I'm going to end this here, but if you have any more questions, as I said, this is not a lecture on how to write a business plan. This is to highlight what you need to put in there, absolutely put in there, and get on top of your game. So this has been another episode of the Think Clinical podcast. My name is Hamza. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please remember to do so. Subscribe, like, and share. And we'll definitely come to you with way more exciting episodes. Thank you so much, and have a good one.